So good afternoon or good morning or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Talent Finders Podcast would like to introduce such an incredible and talented and fireball of energy speaker, positivity promoter, daily motivation, party celebrity, TV host, founder of the JT Chronicles, and JT is AKA Jonathan Thomas. So welcome, JT.
How are you? How you doing?
Good, and you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good. So JT, firstly, I'd like to say congratulations on all your achievements as a performer from an early age. Can you share with us a little more about your journey and your background?
Absolutely. I grew up. I used to actually be in a breakdancing group when I was a kid.
Amazing.
And thank you. So I was, doing all the pop locking and all that stuff, and from roller skating. And then we actually entered a lip sync contest when that was like the big thing. And I had like the whole, putting on the hits, all these shows on TV. And so we did a contest, and we did one of our favorite groups back in the day, which is a group called New Edition, which is part of like Belle Biv DeVoe and Bobby Brown, all that. So that was a group they had as a kid group called New Edition. And so we lip sync one of their songs, and in this contest at this teen night, it's like 600 kids, and we won. So it was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you. So at that time, the manager, well, actually, this guy's name is Johnny Wright, and he was he used to DJ at the teen nights and do it. He was like, "You guys are incredible. Let's make a group. I want to make a sing group out of you guys." So we're like, okay. I don't really know who can sing, but so we went from there. Johnny Wright now actually is the manager for Justin Timberlake and NSYNC and the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.
Which was actually a guy who grew up across the street from me. So he was my neighbor.
Amazing.
Right. So it was pretty cool. So we did all that, and it was cool. So we actually ended up cutting a single called Be My Baby Love, and the name of my group at that time was called The Young Generation. So we were like doing acts and opening up for like New Kids on the Block and Jermaine Stewart. There was a big singer, like was he from England? I think it was. He used to have a song called You Don't Have to Take Your Clothes Off.
Oh yeah.
Remember that? So yeah, so we opened up for him, Evelyn Champagne King, and we were doing all these things. So we're doing well. We were starting to do a little tour, and so like we would spend the weekend sometimes with like it would be us, New Kids on the Block, Tiffany, like Debbie Gibson, like we were at cookouts, and I had a great childhood. It was awesome.
Amazing.
So that's kind of how everything started like then.
So after performing in a local R&B group, what was the inspiration for starting this, and why did this become a popular social media show, JT Chronicles, and was this an organic process for you?
What made this happen is I have a sister that lives out of state, and I have a brother who's living a couple of hours away, and so I had surgery on my knee, and I had they kept asking, how you feeling every day, and so I'd be in like a little group chat with just them, like text message, and then I actually sent them a video, and I would just like put it for them. I was like, how my day was. I'm like, you know what, it could be way worse. I was like, because I see people's posts and stuff like that going around, on Facebook and on the news and everything, and I'm like, I have nothing to complain about, man. So I would start like just making them laugh and stuff like that. So this was going on like, once or twice a week, and and their friends and people at work that they worked with were like, who is that? Like, who are you laughing at? Like, you're like, this is a good move. They're like, oh, that's my brother, Jonathan. And so they're like, oh, well, can you like tag me in like in the morning? Because I would let. So I started having a couple of people more, and then people at work, and it kind of just like blossomed like once or twice a week. I was doing things. I've always been a pretty upbeat guy, and I always wanted to help, people. So I had I just was like started doing that. But to backtrack a little bit for a second, I actually had a show called The Real, which is a music video show. and I did it with one of my best friends, Tim Luth. So it was just a little cable access. We do local things, and then I would do, I put in some music videos from like MTV or whatever, and I made it like a show. We edited it at the studio, at the cable access channel, and I said, okay, hey, and I would send like all these VHS tapes out to all these labels. I'm like, okay, if you guys serviced me with your videos, this is what my show could look like. I would actually put their videos like in my show, and I was like, so my show could really look cool if you guys gave me some of your music videos, without the MTV tag and all that. So they were like, after like a month or two, they started sending me like the new artists and started making a show, and it got to the point where Tim and I got to started doing interviews with like Jay-Z, like Pink,
Wow.
Eminem. I'm doing like who called next, and I'm like they're remembering me, like we're going, and I'm at Whitney Houston. I'm doing like people like I'm like we're doing interviews. We're getting invited. Debbie, Debbie Gibson. We're doing like Debbie Gibson, but there's another she's from England. From Canada right now. And it was just like they were calling. They loved our interviews. They loved how everyone's like, dude, they love you, man. This is like they love you so personable. You're funny. You make them relax, and you're like their friend, like your best friend, and they could trust me. So they would ask me to come to concerts, and they would give. I'm going to Diddy's house for a party.
Wow.
Yeah, it got to be. It was crazy. So it was called The Real Music Video Show, and we were like all over the place, and just kept growing. So I had a friend who passed away, and I actually wrote a song for him. And so when I wrote that song, I ended up going to Nashville, Tennessee. And I wrote a song called Always on My Mind. And so when I took this trip out there, this is where everything kind of like clicked. So I took this trip out there. I was on a bus, on a Plymouth Greyhound bus, and my last like 3 hours going to Nashville, Tennessee, because I ended up singing at the Grand Ole Opry. The last like 3 hours, the bus driver was like, "You could?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm tired." I was like sitting, and we pulled into all these little towns, and I pulled into a little town about probably like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I had my legs over the chair, and I had my bag in there, and this bum gets on the bus, and he walks by me, and we're like, "Oh," I look at the bus driver, he looks at me, and we're like, "Yeah, this dude's gonna go way in the back and sleep." You could just tell,
Great.
yeah, the long bench in the back, and he all of a sudden he comes back. Something made me get up, and I took my bag out of my chair, my luggage, and he put his hand on my chest, on my arm, shoulder, and he goes, "Can I sit here?" I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So he sits down, he starts talking about, music and how he built this deck for this country singer and did a little, handyman stuff for that one and this one. And then he started reciting something from the Bible. Now, my friend who died, who was a good friend of mine, kid I used to sing with, his mother gave me a prayer card, and on that prayer card was the same passage as this man was speaking to me in my ear.
Wow.
And it's also the same verse that my mother read to me right before I left and got on the bus to take this trip from where I live. So
Wow.
he's saying this, then he goes back to music. So this is the whole hour bus ride. Music, a little spiritual, music, spiritual. And he had my complete attention. He was just whispering in my ear and talking to me. And we're getting off, and then he goes, "You're going to be fine." And I was like, "Okay." And he just stood outside, and he went outside and looked at me. He stood outside the bus. The bus driver was like, "You good?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm really good. Like, I'm good." And I just had this very calming effect over him, and I was like so like loving, like what the hell just happened? And the guy standing outside the bus looking at me, I just wave and he just kind of smiles. Now what we drop him off, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning now. And so the depot's not open, and it's like it's a huge parking lot with the depot, way off to the back a couple hundred yards. And we're starting to pull out of the parking lot, and we're sitting there, and then I look back over at him again to see where he was going, and we didn't see him. Like, even if he walked left, right, or straight, he was gone.
Wow.
Completely gone. Got to the hotel, called my mother, and I just started crying. I'm like, "Listen, I don't know what the hell just happened." And I told her,
Yeah.
and she's like, I honestly think you just met your guardian angel.
Yeah.
And I was like, "I think I do too."
Yeah.
And ever since then, I just started giving back.
That's amazing.
It is.
That's
It
amazing. Wow.
Mm.
So,
It's true.
yeah, well, I mean, it's true because you get those people, and it's like you say, even if it's a fleeting moment, and then
Right.
they just and I've heard of, I've also had that myself, but yeah, I've heard of people that have had scenarios like that, and then, like you say, turn around and the person's just been gone. So
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's like some people are looking for it, and they're like, I don't see. I'm like, stop looking for it. Just live
yeah,
your life.
yeah,
You're gonna be okay.
absolutely,
And
absolutely,
it's around you all day. So
yeah,
that kind of like gave me that openness, and I'm like, all right, listen, I gotta start doing something a little bit more because I have a lot of gifts, and I'm like,
yeah,
I'm not gonna waste them.
no,
You
definitely
know,
not.
no, not at all.
So that leads me to the next question. So you have not only captured the hearts of your community in Cape Cod, but also beyond. Was this always a part of your vision, or has the JT Chronicles taken a life of its own? And how do you believe you have impacted lives for the better? And can you give us some examples of
Um, it was something at first struck strictly just like around here, community, and just because you always I see people that get so upset and they're like, I'm going to the White House, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and
this?
pick it here and do that. And listen, I'm like, and I ask some people like, what are you doing in the community? I only know I can control here. I can do what I can do here. All right,
Yeah,
because the government's not going to come to my little town and and try to make things better. So you have to do it where you are. All right, that's where it starts,
yeah,
and that's where you start. So I started doing that here, and I was like, all right, well that'd be cool. And then people started to come up to me as they started catching on, and people I don't know,
yeah,
and then one of my friends is like, we're sitting having drinks and hanging out, and he goes, dude, so what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what is this? Like, what is this? Because you're like, people are following you. I'm like, are they really? And he's like, yeah,
yeah,
like, you've got to make this into like, this is something like I don't think you get like exactly what it is. And I'm like, I don't. He goes, you got to find out what this is and what you're going to do and where you're going with this. You
yeah.
can't, like, this is not something to stay here. And,
No,
and he's a writer, so he actually wrote like The Finest Hour, um, uh, Patriots Day, which is the whole Boston bombing and all that. So a
yeah,
friend of mine, Casey Sherman, he's and and he's like, dude, you've got to like you got to find out what this is. You got to like take hold of this and you got to expand. And so people started like taking it themselves. Like I'm doing interviews and I'm doing stuff like on the Cape. I'm like at all these different events and just kind of like doing little things. Hey, local businesses, and I'm like, this is growing. So I'm like, all right, yes, this is going to be bigger. And when I say it's outside of my community, and when I say that, that I want you to take this with you and have a good day. And I met some kids from California, and they're like, we had a Unity Day on the Cape, some friends, and I'm like, about 2,000 people showed up, and it was like a whole bunch of us that put together in the town and the police department, and these kids like, what is this? Like him and his girlfriend and friends. I'm like, it's a Unity Day, man. Everybody getting together and being, being in the forefront. They're like, can we stay? I'm like, of course you can stay. This is like, we want this to be big. Like, I want you to take this positivity that we're giving you, that I'm giving you right now. I want you to take that with you and
yeah,
spread it. And so they started following my JT's Chronicle page. And then I've had some people like, oh, I live in Nevada. I live in Atlanta. So I'm like, all right, this has to be bigger. And I
mm,
want it to be bigger. And I know it takes a while because it's positive. So positive takes a little bit longer than the negative. Negative, if I smack a girl, if I push the girl down a flight of stairs into some jello, that would go viral within 10 minutes.
yeah,
Now,
absolutely.
right? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's got to be, but it has to be something drastic. You know what I
yes,
mean? For people to be like, oh, yeah, it has to be, if I saved a baby out of a burning building, you know, that'll get some hits too.
yeah.
But just be nice to one another and then just doing it because you do it. Like I don't do it because I want people to see me doing it.
Mm.
I do what I do, and it's just
Well, you live the example. I think that's the key. It's not coming from a place of being unauthentic and I
no,
think that's the difference. So,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
So, um, JT, as a speaker, how in an industry that is massively oversaturated, how and what do you think um, your real life experience has made you unique, and what do you believe makes you different from other speakers?
I've listened to a lot of speakers, and I listen to a lot of different motivational speakers and just artists, and like anything from like Oprah to like E.T. to like Will Smith to T.D. Jakes or and Tony Robbins, and it all depends on what my mood is and what I'm looking for.
Yes.
So I listen to all that stuff and I think about, okay, what did I go through in my life? I ended up being a single dad for a long time, and the stuff I went through to fight for my child, to keep him safe, and give him what he needed, and protect him as much as possible, and not let him know like what was going on, because he was young, he was one. I went all the way out to Oregon, to get my child, and it was a very spiritual and eye-opening situation. So I'm looking at, okay, well, I'm telling people my experience, and like, you can't fake this. Like, this is like your true emotions. Like, I'm telling people this, and they're feeling it because you can't hide it. So I think that's what gravitates people to me, and that's what people like listen, and they're like, Jesus, maybe my life's not bad. Well, I went through that, and I'm like, so I can relate to a lot of people that have been through that.
So branding is everything, and especially in a world that is throwing so much information at us. What as not only a speaker and entertainer, but as JT Chronicles, do you aim to achieve as a brand, but also as an authentic brand? Are you hoping to achieve, and what do you want to do in terms of expanding the brand, or do you want to just keep it small? Do you just want to see how it grows organically? So what's your vision for that?
I'm actually starting. I want to get bigger. I'm actually starting a positive direction motivational tour. So I am working with kids. I mean, every age also, but I've been speaking at last couple of schools. 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grade. I love that age because I think they're open. I think they're still like enlightened, and they have that spark in their eyes and their stars, and they're still beautiful sponges. You know what I mean? That you could talk to and understand that what they're about to walk into. Oh, very impressionable. That's huge. And I've had a couple. Last class I spoke to was about 360, 370 kids, and there was 6th and 7th graders. And so the thing which actually been helping the kids started wearing some shirts. A couple of kids, my kids started wearing shirts. I have a son and daughter, Deja and Darian, and just wearing the JT Chronicles shirt or T-shirt, hat, and the kids are actually starting to pay attention a little bit more. So this branding and the positivity I'm doing with them, when these kids are catching on to it and they're sharing it with their friends. So I wanted to get bigger. I want this to keep expanding, so I have more schools and kids inside the bridge. And speaking, so the tour, the Positive Direction Motivational Tour, is geared towards all this. I have a couple other speakers. I have a nutritionist that's with me that's all about taking care of your body, and me with the mental and taking back your life and understanding that there's way more good than bad out there. And that's like one of and they need to understand it, because when they're watching all this stuff on TV, they don't realize that once they start Googling like one bad thing, that's what keeps popping up on their news feed and on their phones. So that's what they're constantly seeing. Not always looking at the date, like, oh my God, dude, that happened like 12 years ago. But it pops back. So it keeps their mind going, and it keeps them like, oh, it sucks out here and this and that. And I'm like, you're young. You don't need to understand. You don't even need to listen to any of that shit. Like, take care of you first, And it also goes to the parents. I'm like, some of you parents I see, and I've mentioned it before, stop talking about every negative aspect of your life in front of your kid. Let the kid be a kid. Let them just grow up and have fun. Let them learn. Not like, oh, this one's doing this one, or your father cheated on me, your mother cheated on me, or your aunt's doing this, or the neighbor's doing this, or we don't have any money for this. Like, I never knew that my parents, almost lost our house twice.
Yeah.
because, money wise. I didn't know that they kept that business to themselves so we could just sleep and relax and not stress. So we could concentrate on school.
And
Yeah.
that's the parent's job, is not to
Correct.
children with all these issues.
Exactly. That's a huge thing I have with letting kids be kids and parents remembering, like, listen, you are a parent, all right? So get off your phone because these kids didn't ask to be brought here. Pay attention to what's going on here first. Stop trying to be a friend to your kid and be an adult and be a parent.
Yes.
You'll be
also be an example to your kid, because I think that there are people out there that have a persona, or one persona in front of their friends and social media, but behind closed doors, it's a very different scenario. And I just don't always believe that by living a lie or living a fake life is a good example, or staying in a relationship for the sake of the kids if it's not going to serve your children.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, the damage that it actually has, or the ripple effect it has when they grow up or they move out, is definitely evident in people's actions and people's behavior.
Right, exactly. And some of these kids, when they leave school, and when they leave home and go to school or wherever into life, they're lost. They're like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, yeah, yeah, exactly. You didn't know, and that's why a lot of kids end up home early from school, college year. Like a lot of kids, like they said, a high percentage of freshmen that have no experience, and it just say like very cut and dry with being outside, even going to parties and socializing and stuff like that, and stuff like that. The little kids, they go so buck wild crazy, and they end up coming home by Christmas, and they're like, I can't be out there.
Yeah. No, 100%. 100%. So that actually leads me into the next question, which so let's touch on social media. So social media has changed our world in so many ways, both positive and negative. Can you share with us how it has impacted you, and what do you think can be done better?
The positive, the negative, obviously, like I kind of touched on. I said, well, people understand even when we're discussing this and discussing certain things that your interests are, or discuss, and it pops up on your feed now. It's like it's constantly around you. So everybody is a lot of these kids are becoming desensitized, all right, because they see so many negative things that some of these kids don't know how to react when they see somebody getting hurt. Their first instinct is to pull out the damn phone and start recording. I'm like, no, go over there and help first. Help first. Don't record. Go help. It's okay. It's okay if it's not filmed. You guys are going to be all right. You know what I mean? Help the person. And that's what these kids need to do. So they keep seeing all the negative things. They keep pushing it. So that's where their mentality is, and that's what keeps happening. So it spreads when people leave the house and they're all wired up, and that negative triggers this one. And so you end up having like a whole bunch of people in a certain area that are just constantly, especially when you go to work. It's like, no, take care of yourself home. Get yourself in a good mood at home first. Do a little meditation, do a little walking, have your coffee, have your tea. Don't look at the news. Don't do all that stuff. Let's listen to some meditation. Listen to JT's Chronicles, if that's the case, first thing in the morning for a couple of minutes. Get you in the right, get you in the right pace, and go into work with leading. You got to lead. You got to lead and set the tone right off the bat. You got to set the tone. That's where the negative and the positive come in from social media. It's great because I can socialize with people I haven't seen in years. I can reach all these people that are across the country, all around the world, and they're like, I live in Japan. I got a friend over in Taiwan now. I got somebody else in Hawaii, in Denmark, and they're like, oh, JT, I watch you every day, Australia, and they're sharing it. So I had one girl right on YouTube, which I have to build up my YouTube page, and she's like, and she says right on the page, she's like, why are you not bigger? She's like, she loved my page, and she's like, she was like, why are you not bigger? Like, you are just like, I love what you do. Yeah. But that's because it's positive. So positive takes longer to get there. And it'll happen, but it's happening. Slow and steady. You know what I mean? slow and steady is
But
fine.
it's like Gary Vee says, it's an organic process, and it's about building content and adding value. So it's
Yes,
exactly what you're doing. And
yes,
obviously the expansion for you will happen, but it will happen at the right pace that works for you.
absolutely. And you got, I don't know what's on the other side of the door, but I think it's going to be huge, and that's
Huge.
why I don't stop. And we're in the middle of filming a pilot right now. Somebody else just saw me. I was doing another event and hosting, and somebody saw me. So I'm actually in the middle of filming a pilot called "Enjoy Responsibly," and
Okay.
and they cater to like craft beer and festivals and sports and music, and they love my positivity. They're like, dude, you're perfect. And so it actually has been working out. So we're filming some shows right now. So that's something on the rise. We have the Instagram page right now, so people are starting to follow and catch on, and we're going to different events, and it's just another feather, just another page, in the JT Chronicles, book. I love it right now. I love it.
Amazing.
I'm happy.
So, no, I mean, it's amazing because, like you said, one thing starts and then it leads to other things and it just keeps growing. So, and it's also nice because people can see different angles and different sides of you as well.
Oh, absolutely. I'm crazy. Like I'm, I know I'm crazy, so my kids think I'm crazy, and they'll see me work out, and I'm like, and something will happen or about to happen, and either my son or daughter look at me like, no, shut up, don't say anything, and I'm like, but my kids are crazy too, so don't even I have I have two beautiful kids in there, and they're just went off to college, so it's it's funny, but you start to see a little bit of what you've done and what you said. If they, because when you could say something to my kids that I've been saying for 8 years,
Mm.
and all of a sudden, Karen goes, oh, Darian, Deja, you guys should do this, with your homework or your scheduling your day, and you're like, and they'll say, that sounds smart, okay. I'm like, really? I've been saying that for like 8 years to you guys, and you don't listen to me, but it's okay
Yeah,
because somebody else, I'm talking to them all the time, so kids usually shut their parents out, a little bit because they think we don't know anything all the time. But their friends are following me, and my kids are the ones that told me, there's a lot of kids are following you, Dad. Like the kids, that's how I found out. Like my kids are telling me they're like, there's a lot of kids that are following you. And so I'm like looking at there's a couple thousand kids, this school and that school, and spreading out over the Cape, and it's good, and they love it, and they support me well. They're huge supporters. My whole family, my girl, my kids, my family, my friends.
that's amazing.
It is. It
Amazing.
really is amazing. And now you asked me a question like how impact. I had a woman come up to me in a store after I posted something one day in the morning, and I went out shopping after, and I don't know her, and she stopped me, and she started crying. She's like, I needed to hear exactly what you just said this morning. She looked like I had lost somebody and I didn't know what I was doing, and she was, you have no idea the impact that you made for me today and many other days, and how many other people that you are affecting. In a sense, she talking off the ledge, or from people exploding, and it makes me feel like that's awesome to me. That gets me choked up, because I'm just speaking from what my experiences are, or what I might have been around yesterday, or what happens at home, what happens here at my house, and how I feel, and I'm thinking somebody else would feel the same way.
Exactly. No, it's amazing. I mean, all of these things, and like you say, just like growing and spreading the word and having people talk to you, like you say, or meet you, bump into you in a store or wherever. It could be a festival, a store, a small place, and just the impact that you're having is amazing.
Thank you. I absolutely love it. Thank you, and I appreciate it. I mean, and you and I found each other, and that's awesome. I was cheesing. I'm like, oh my god, so this is really good. I'm like, I love this, this whole social media when it works for good things, to help spread the word, and I love it. I do. I appreciate it so much. You have no idea.
Well, it's a pleasure. So, um, part of your very colorful and diverse career has always been on the events, or has also been on the event side of entertainment and festivals. Can you share a little more about this and how this has helped you as a performer to understand all aspects of the industry?
Being in from being on stage, from the boy band, obviously how to interact with the crowd, and they used to teach. We used to practice like hours on top of hours, and so you have to engage with the audience, and back then they were like, what, find the cutest girl in the audience or whatever goes in front of you. You got to point to her, give her that look, like you're the only girl she's singing to. So it's the whole boy band stuff. It's like
Yes.
you got to do that. So you take all that time that we had, and we got it down to, we mastered it pretty well. And then I'm looking at, okay, so I'm doing this now, and I meet people out and I'm doing my videos and I'm speaking to people, and I'm like, that's how I engage. Like, I'm talking to you and I'm looking at you in that same way, like you're the only one. I'm speaking to you right now. And it's helped me to have better eye control, to better like sense that one-on-one connection, to get that, to exude and to get that volume and that energy. So when you talk to me and I talk to you, I'm meeting you, you're like, damn, I'm hitting you all the way in the back row. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to feel this energy. You're going to feel the sincerity, this love and power. You're going to feel this in the back row. I don't care where you are. I don't care if it's one person, 12, 2,000, 25,000. I was like, I'm giving it to you. And you're going to feel it. You feel my energy. So when I walk into the room, I'm not walking in because I want to take your attention away from whoever you're talking to. I'm just like, this is how I wake up, because I'm happy that I woke up today. And I'm like, damn, I got a gift and a blessing that I'm giving out. Trust me, I have bad days. I absolutely have bad days.
Yes, so, I mean, everybody does.
Oh, God, yeah. This is just, I've learned not to hold on to it, and you got to look at like, okay, well, I got to work this out. If it's something I need to work out, I try sometimes to attack it now. Let's get it done, attack it, figure out how to fix it, or get past it. Otherwise, it ruins your whole day. And you know what happens when it does that is that you're blocking any other positive energy coming to you. You're blocking any ideas or anybody wanting to come to you. That might be, you might be walking down the street, Karen, and somebody sees you and wants you for something. All of a sudden, you're having a bad day, and you just have that unapproachable look on your face. So I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to keep going right now. And that could have been your opportunity.
Absolutely.
Right. So,
and that's the thing. It's also the energy you give out, So, and like you say, it's also how you deal with things. I mean, obviously, sometimes you're in very stressful situations and circumstances which may be not in your control necessarily, and that does play a role. I mean, we've all been there with either sick family members or, stress in our careers, and things that people can easily mistake, because I think that's also a big subject at the moment around mental health, and people can often, judge people, and that's another thing that really frustrates me, is because unless you really know what's going on in someone's life, it's not really anybody's place to make that judgment or say you have a mental health issue just because you're going through a stressful situation. And I think it's different. It's different for everybody. But also I think that it's easy for everybody to point the finger at other people and blame other people, but they're not really looking in the mirror at their own lives and fixing.
Absolutely. People like to do that. People like to do that because it takes the attention away from them. So they always feel that. Some people are very quick to judge and don't want, but when you put it back in their face, they get very defensive.
Yeah.
And it's easy.
That's definitely something that narcissistic and sociopathic individuals do. And they turn it around and make it like it's your fault and make you feel like you're going batshit crazy. When in actual fact, it's nothing to do with you, and it's got everything to do with them, and and it just shows weakness, in my opinion.
And if you're not strong enough, you're gonna sit back for a second and don't talk, don't engage anymore, and be like, all right, let me roll back and let's go over. Let me go over this whole situation that just happened.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not the one who dated that guy. I'm not the one who stole that, or I'm not the one that punched that person. So why is it my fault? Like, how is this play out on me? And sometimes you gotta talk to yourself You don't be like, okay, this person's trying to make me crazy. I'm
Mm.
good. And you know what you gotta do? Like, you know what? I gotta go.
Yeah.
I gotta go. And you gotta, and it's hard sometimes. You gotta walk away and be like, I'm good, because you're not gonna change that person's mind, because they're not gonna accept their faults at all.
No, they're not, and also they don't take responsibility for
Oh God,
for their own actions. You know, people that lie and cheat and are deceitful
yeah,
and create stories and then tell the audience what they think they want to hear, or tell the person they think, you know, to manipulate for their own self gain. It's just,
yes, they need to.
in my
Yes,
opinion, it's just pure evil.
yeah. Oh God, I know people that have drama every single day. I'm like, you can't possibly have this much drama every day.
Yeah,
I'm like, you're bringing this crap upon yourself. Like,
yeah.
that's just fact. Like, and I see it, and it's like they want people to know all about their life and what's going on, and how
Mm.
this person did them wrong, and this person. I'm like, you know what? After a while, you gotta stop thinking, what are you doing to cause this? Because it can't be all these people. You got to be doing something.
Yeah,
You know, but
100%.
yeah, no, not me. Oh yeah, you. And that's why you ever see the Heisman Trophy? You know what the Heisman Trophy is?
Yeah,
For
I've heard
football?
about it. Yeah,
Okay, so and the statue is a person of, the statue is a picture of a person with, holding the football in one arm and then having the other arm extended out, like to
yeah,
stop the person from getting to them.
yeah.
So I call that the Heisman. So when I see people like that I know are all about drama and they're like, JT, I'm like, I stick my head out. Hey, good to see you. Gotta go. And I call the Heisman, and I keep it going. You gotta
No,
do
I
it.
mean, that's why I'm always entertained, because even people, you know, that block you on social media,
Yeah.
you know, because it's like you say, it's very easy for people to dish stuff out, but it's very
Oh, right.
difficult for people to take it.
Absolutely.
And you know, I just laugh, because I'm like, if you had any real backbone, you know, you would, instead of running and hiding,
Yeah.
just like to open and sit down and have a conversation and just,
Right.
you know, talk about it, as opposed to, you know, unless somebody is really crazy, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, most people, I think, are just, this is what social media does, is it opens up room for debate and it opens up room for conversation. And I think it's about, A, how you ask the question without assuming, you know, the negative, and B,
Yeah.
you know, if you really had any level of backbone, you would actually, you know, open the door for discussion or resolve an issue, as opposed to just go, oh, well, you know, delete, block,
Right.
whatever. Because at the end of the day, you know, it's just not, I don't believe that it serves, and I just think that it creates a false, or, you know, the
Yeah.
wrong perception.
Yeah. Those are Facebook assassins. Those are people that, like, they're very strong on Facebook, but they don't. And you know what? And I don't discuss politics really, and I don't discuss religion on my
No,
page. Right?
never a good idea.
Yeah. Never. Never. Listen,
No.
I love the fact that I live where I live, because I can discuss whatever I want. You could be right, I could be right. You could be right. You know what I mean? And it's,
Yeah.
you know what? It's beautiful, but you're not going to yell at me and
No.
tell me I'm wrong about certain things. I'm like, okay, well, that's your choice. That's fine. But now I know some things bring out people's true colors, because they can't hold it. Some
Uh-huh.
hold it, boy. You can't. When prime example, when I work at the hospital also. So before, before I have JT Chronicles go worldwide and I'm on tour. But as of right now, when Obama won,
Yeah.
I had people at work that you would have thought they were going to lose their house. You would have thought that all of a sudden everything's going to go down and the banks are going to close up. And I'm like, they were so upset. And I'm like, wow. And they were using language. And I'm like, these are people that I thought were so nice. And so I'm like, I'm sorry. And I feel bad for you that you actually have that much anger inside you, that you're reacting like this. You know, I don't care. Like, you can choose whoever you want, or anything like that. But I was like, wow, you really are angry. And like, they couldn't even work. That's how bad they had to go home. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
just, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is. So I was like, okay, well,
Yeah, I mean, I think for me as well, I mean, and maybe, I mean, it's just to extend back into the social media aspect of things is when people talk about how they stand for something and
Yeah,
it's a direct contradiction. And I
yeah,
think one of the things that's been very big and highlighted, and actually the CEO and founder of Bumble, um,
yeah,
actually it's now this whole thing of sending unsolicited images and and making people accountable for this level of behavior. And
right.
that's another thing in terms of the negative aspects and how does one combat this? Because especially as women, you know, this is what we are faced with more than what men are faced with, and it's a difficult
Yes.
challenge. So it's like, in your opinion, kind of, what is your viewpoint on it?
I'm looking at because I'm thinking about some of the things that we talked about. I love women in power, like because I'm not even joking. Like I like what women and on your level and just any level, honestly,
Mm,
what you bring to the table and the different highlights of whether it's business, whether it's fashion, whether it's political, whatever. Like you're very compassionate. That's why people's like, oh, if you have a woman in this position, it's gonna be too many emotions. Like, no, actually, you gotta look at they're coming from a different angle because this is the money. Like women spend, women create,
mm,
women see what's going on. You guys spend time and you keep that dollar rolling a lot. We buy from for you. All right. So a lot of stuff, not that women can't buy, but men like what we buy things for because like women like this or women like that or they want. And I'm looking at a lot of the new women are like, I'm not waiting for any guy to buy me anything. I'm doing
no,
what I want to do. I'm doing
amen.
right. Exactly. And this is what I love. So like
Yeah,
you're coming out the gate and it's like, all right, well, this is what I think is needed. And I have a young girl that I just saw, younger age. So she is starting her own cheesecake truck. All right, big like boom out the box. This is what she wanted to do. And I'm like,
mm,
100%. She's like, I'm putting it on my page. I'm like that. I love seeing women in take control and be in charge. And
yeah,
go because that just betters us. It betters everybody. It betters younger women that they understand that you know what you don't need a guy to take care of you. You don't need a guy to belittle you in any way, shape, or form, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. Like you're strong, and the more other younger women see that, the stronger you become. And I want that, and I love that. I support that 100%. I love that. My grandmother was sewing clothes for like Sears and Roebuck and clothes so back when she was a kid, making clothes for people, walking and having a job and taking care of my mother and my uncle and doing this and teaching 4-H and teaching classes sewing in the basement. So she like hustled and worked and then built houses with my grandfather here.
yes,
When we got to the state, and I'm like, that's why, I have start my production company later, and it's called Curry's Drive because my grandmother's last name was Curry, and her drive and her passion, and all the what she built it in the street that I grew up on is called Curry's Drive, named after her. And it's like she's my inspiration. Women are like it's just that's I listen. If a woman comes to me and says, "Listen, I'm gonna build this, so I need your backing for it," yep. I absolutely, and I think that before it used to be a woman behind you, like you find they said if you see a successful man, look behind him and you see a successful woman.
mm,
That used to be like the slogan.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah, absolutely.
huh?
I remember.
Do you remember that used to be the slogan?
Yeah,
Behind every successful man was a more successful woman. Now they're like next to them, if not leading. And my sister's another. My sister's like that too, and she's got it from my mother, and my grandmother, and in business and management and all that. And I love it. I absolutely. My girl's a strong, independent woman, and I don't like if I don't get up and do it right away. She's like, no, all right. And I'm like, all right, I'll get up and do it. Like I'm I can't give her like she's like, there's no time. It's like she wants to do it, like do it now. So
yeah,
you
no,
get
absolutely. Well, there's no time like the present, right?
oh God, absolutely. I love it. I love it. I'm a huge fan, big supporter, and I want my daughter to be the same way and any other young ladies I meet. for them to understand, and when I'm doing this motivational tour, how much power they actually have. You
No,
know?
absolutely. So
Yeah.
what would you say as an entrepreneur would be your biggest lessons and learnings?
What would be my biggest
So your
my big
biggest lessons and learning as an entrepreneur, artist,
um
creator.
uh listen, you can sleep when you're dead, all right? Because you got to understand, you
Yeah,
you have to understand that there is 1,000 other people wanting to do the same thing that you're doing, possibly come up with the same idea that you have. It's all about who gets it out there and who does it first, and then how you do it. So what I've learned is I get up in the morning, I have to have a routine, I have to be disciplined. You have to
yes.
be disciplined. You got to be disciplined. That's a big thing. You have to be. And
No,
it's a thing that
because that's the hardest part of entrepreneurship. Because when you're doing your own thing, it's very easy to get distracted.
absolutely all day. When you know you got people that you got friends that and they're like, oh, they're gonna tell you this. So it's really exciting in the very beginning, and you're like, all right, so now you have to execute it. So especially because most entrepreneurs have a regular job also on top of being a side job. And so all right, so I get up in the morning. I'm like, okay, I'm thinking something, and I also have to go to work. So I can only do so much about the idea until I get out of
Yes.
work. And now you gotta have that same passion, you know what I mean? When you get
No,
out of work
absolutely.
that you had,
Absolutely.
that you have the same passion and drive that you had when when you went to bed and wrote it down, or when you got up and like, all right, cool, I love this. And so if it's in your mind and you really want to make it happen, you gotta like on your break. This is what I say on your break time. Okay, go to your phone because you have 1,000 little devices on your phone, little apps. I go into my documents, my blank pages, and I'm writing ideas out on how to make it work. Da 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 da. Then boom, I go back. Then I get my other break. I might write some more. So you have to keep fueling that. Stay focused. And if you know, like when I get out of work, that so and so is going to be at the house, or this is going to be happening at the house. Okay, well, you know what? Either A, like, listen, I need like some time right now. I got to do this. Is there anything you need that's on fire? Do we have to go somewhere to move something? Is it something that's dire that can't wait? You got to like, especially if you have a family, you got friends, and you got to set that tone right at the bat. And it's like, all right, well, good, okay, because me going to drink for you and going to dinner or going to shoot basketball right now, it's not a priority. I got to do this
Yeah,
and take care of it.
absolutely.
Right, you got to. That's when your circle gets smaller and smaller because you have to be focused and disciplined. And some people might get upset, but you're like, listen, if you support me in what I'm doing, what I'm trying to do, and you can see the light with me, you see the vision, I need this time right now to make this come out the right way. Because what happens when you start going off, all right, I'll go back to it later. You're losing that passion right then. You're losing that drive. You're
No,
losing
absolutely.
you're losing that creativity because you have no idea what's about to push out.
No, absolutely. I mean, it makes total sense. So, what are some of your career highlights?
Um, I'll say it was okay. I did. There's so many good things, but just like with the JT Chronicles, or like overall everything. Um, one, I had I saw someone at one of the Best Buddies, which is a Tom Brady thing with special needs, and they have the big race that goes from Boston or whatever all the way to the Cape, and it's biking, it's running, and all that. It's awesome. It's a huge charity event, and I was allowed to be part of that, and I was able to meet some very special needs young adults, and they absolutely love me, and they actually asked me to come and speak to their class graduation.
Mm.
And I'm like, are you serious? They're like, yeah. They're like, you're awesome. And I'm like, seriously? And it's like, and that's making me smile because it's like, that's like, you think it's little, it's like, that's huge to, to them and to certain people. And you see the light, you see the smile on their face. And I got to, go to that class and hang out and I took pictures and we did some interviews and it was just like the most rewarding. And then I got asked to come back and do something for the Dream Day on Cape Cod. These are kids that were having a lot of these kids were terminally ill kids. I had some of these kids had some illnesses that weren't going to make it. And they asked me to come, and so I dressed up in this. I had these different outfits characters that I wear, and I love it. I absolutely love it. People are like, it's not even Halloween. I'm like, yeah, I know, but don't worry about it. I enjoy it. And I had a character I called Chocolate Pop. I was like the last lollipop kid, and then it was like I had this whole outfit on and with the accent. Lollipop because I'm the last lollipop kid. My name is Chocolate Pop, and I love this kid. Yeah. So I came on to see you children. I love that, and they absolutely were just so happy, and it made me happy because they felt like nothing was wrong with them. You know what I mean? Like they weren't sick. They smiled. They laughed. They were running. They were taking pictures. They were hanging out, asking me questions, and they're like, "Can we follow you on Instagram?" I'm like, "I would love you to follow me on Instagram. Like you made me feel good today." And I'm like, "You make me feel good. Like you have no idea how good I feel right now, and that my life is a purpose, and that I'm making a difference somewhere." Absolutely love
Amazing, amazing,
it. And it
amazing.
was absolutely. Um, Oh, and I had another good time. Another good time was I actually met Pink, and she actually invited me back to the trailer, and I got to hang out with her for like 2.5, 3 hours, and
Wow.
and we had dinner. Like her chef, like it was she was at that time she was opening up. She's like, and she goes, "You have such a beautiful soul." She's like I don't know what it is. She goes, she just I was really comfortable talking to you, and we talked and just talked, and we filmed this for a show that I had. The video showed the reel, and it was just incredible. We're walking, and I'm like, and that's why I talk about manifest. When you put it out there, you get it back. And her and I were talking. I'm like, well, who would you love to do a song with? And we're outside the trail, and we're walking, and she goes, oh, Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. I'm like, love Steven Tyler, and we're talking about this and putting it out there. Next thing you know, Steven Tyler's walking up the hill
Wow.
at the concert where we're at with
Gee.
his kids, and he's like, he came over to us and started talking and took pictures. I'm like, are you kidding? Are you kidding? That was awesome. It was
That's
so much fun.
amazing.
So much fun.
Amazing. Okay, so the subject of women and women empowerment is something that is being strongly highlighted in the current narrative. Most women have brilliant ideas, but where there is a lack of confidence with women is getting support. What, as a man, do you feel you can help women, and what are some examples you can share with us?
Um, I've had the last couple of events I've done. Actually, everything I'm doing in a lot of this progress is the result of um of women, really, like strong women around me. Like seriously, between my website, between it making me look good and telling me what works, what doesn't work, which gives me more confidence because I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I seem confident a lot, but I have questions, and I have people that are helping to direct my style of clothing sometimes, and creativity and marketing. Like this is all women. Like people need to actually like. I understand that because I grew up with a strong woman. She, too. Like I said earlier, my grandmother, my mother. So I'm surrounding myself with very, very intelligent and powerful and strong women that see you know, a need and helping me, direct my lane. You got to make your own lane for certain things. If you wait for somebody else, it's not going to happen.
No,
And so
absolutely.
that's absolutely true. And I see these, like, I have a daughter, and I want her to see that. And I ask her things, and she'll actually, she just speaks right up. It's like, okay, don't do that. You need to do this. I'm like, okay. She goes, no, don't wear that. And you need to direct it this way. Or don't say that because you're going to offend, you know, certain people. Like she's not trying to say, well, we're not. You're always going to upset someone. But she's like, this is how it needs to come out. Especially when I have a younger audience, because I have a younger audience that's listening,
Mm.
and you don't want to come off, being rude. You don't want to come off being creepy, stuff like that. She goes, no, 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 no. She goes, I get the joke. She goes, but most kids won't get the joke or like understand what you're saying. I'm like, okay, thank you, And so I just keep surrounding myself with stronger women. It's like my energy is out there, and for some reason that's what I attract. My audience, I'm finding, is a lot of like more women than men. And I say it's more women than men because women are creative. Women want to know what's going on. Women want to lead and structure their household. They want to structure their family. They want to structure the world. And they're not waiting for the guy to let them do it. So they're like, all right, well, you're going to let me do it. So move over. I got this. Don't worry about it. I'm good. And they're coming out. And you know what? And they have the support of a lot of women and a lot of men.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And also, I
And
think
I love it.
you obviously resonate, a very strong message, and obviously that's also what attracts, either men or women. So I
Right.
think it's an amazing thing.
Thank you.
So that leads me to the last two questions. So what legacy would you like to leave, and what are the three key pieces of advice you would like to share with other entrepreneurs?
What would I like to leave? I would like to leave, especially for my kids and that dad worked his ass off and to help us understand that how strong we are and not to give up and not to like, believe everything you see. Like you got to really look and don't waste your gifts. That's a big thing I'm teaching my kids. Like you are here for a reason. You got to understand that first. This is
Yeah,
no accident. There's no accidents. You're here. Everything that happens in your life is not an accident. It's like here. So if you're not learning anything from that, because you're doomed if you keep repeating it. And that's a really big thing. Like you have to understand, why you're here. And if you haven't found out, keep researching. Don't give up. Don't understand. There's people that are around you. So what you give out is what you're going to get back. So I want people that when I leave my legacy, it's like, oh my God, JT he was positive. He's always like, he wanted to help people and he loved giving an ear if he could give it time. And when he meant like he loved you, when he said, dude, I love you. And it's like, I mean that. So when I say like one love and one family and one community, I mean that. It doesn't matter where you are. Your world is your community. You know what I mean? That your world is your community. So wherever you go, I picked, I'm like, all right, well, shit, I'm here now. So this is my community. I'm spreading that one love, one family. I'm like, I want you to feel that. And I'm like, I'm here. Like, I'm going to be part of this and try to give out some good energy, some good positivity. How can I help bring some goodness to this area? What can I contribute to make this a better place? Like I said, I fit right in. I want to fit right in, you know, and I want people to feel that and be like, listen, like this dude is real. Like he means it when he says that, and 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 we want to be around it. We want that. So I want you to take it and bring it to the next person and keep spreading it and so forth and so on. Like
yeah,
let that be the plague. Let that be like the positivity plague. Let that spread throughout the world. And the three things for an entrepreneur, like I said, you you can rest. Take it seriously. It's really serious.
mm. So you
Find your
get to sleep when
passion.
you're dead.
Yeah, you can sleep when you're dead right off the bat. Two, there's somebody else. You got to get up early. You got to get up early and believe what you said, but you've got to set the tone for your day. You
Yeah.
got to set and follow through.
Mm.
Stay focused and follow through. And I love it. I absolutely do love it.
Amazing. Well,
No,
thank
thank
you
you.
so much for joining us today, and hopefully we can catch up with you and see how your progress and how everything is going with all your projects. And
Absolutely. I want you
yeah,
to. I do. I do. The new show. Like, you got to go on Instagram. So, because it's not up, but you can go enjoy responsibly. You'll see a little clip.
yeah,
That's you run on that page. And that's all about that. And JT's Chronicles on the website, jtschronicles.com. It's all one word. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And just keep doing what you're doing, man. When I say one love, one family, one community, love the video, like the video, and share the video. I mean that.
awesome. Well, thank you so much.